Summon Greater Demon is one of my favorite spells in this game. It's very flavorful, it's strong, it adds a lot of roleplay potential, and it's one of the only summon spells barely anybody complains about. From what I know at least. Welcome to Pack Tactics, where I torture my viewers with endless bagpipes. Summon Greater Demon, action, 60-foot range, 1 hour duration. You utter foul words, summoning one demon from the chaos of the abyss. You choose the demon's type, which must be one of challenge rating 5 or lower, such as a shadow demon or a Balgura. The demon appears in an unoccupied space you can see within range, and the demon disappears when it drops to 0 hit points, or when the spell ends. Roll initiative for the demon, which has its own turns when you summon it, and on each of your turns thereafter, you can issue a verbal command to it, telling it what it must do on its next turn. If you issue no command, it spends its turn attacking any creature within reach that has attacked it. At the end of each of the demon's turns, it makes a charisma saving throw. The demon has disadvantage on this saving throw if you say its true name. On a failed save, the demon continues to obey you. On a successful save, your control of the demon ends for the rest of the duration. And the demon spends its turns pursuing and attacking the nearest non-demons to the best of its ability. If you stop concentrating on the spell before it reaches its full duration, an uncontrolled demon doesn't disappear for 1d6 rounds if it still has hit points. As part of casting the spell, you can form a circle on the ground with the blood used as a material component. The circle is large enough to encompass your space. While this spell lasts, the summoned demon can't cross the circle or harm it, and it can't target anyone within it. Using the material component in this manner consumes it when the spell ends. At higher levels, when you cast a spell using a spell slot of 5th level or higher, the challenge rating increased by 1 for each slot level above 4th. Before I move on, I'll quickly talk about the material components of this spell. A vial of blood from a humanoid killed within the past 24 hours. Luckily, you don't need this vial to cast this spell. The player handbook says, a character can use a component pouch or a spellcasting focus in place of the component specified for a spell. But if a cost is indicated for a component, a character must have the specified component before he or she can cast the spell. If a spell states that a material component is consumed by the spell, the caster must provide this component for each casting of the spell. The material component does not have a cost indicated, and it also does not have to be consumed unless you draw the circle. So we can replace this no problem. This does of course leave you out to dry versus the summoned demon, but there are ways around that which I'll get into now. The overall best way to use this spell is to drop your greater demon right behind the enemies you're fighting, while making sure that your allies keep the enemies between you and the demon you have summoned. This way, if it ever succeeds on its charisma saving throw, it has to go through the enemies before it attacks you. A way to decrease the chances it succeeds on its saving throw is by commanding it to give its true name, so that it has disadvantage on its saving throws. But Kobold, my DM thinks that's cheating! Well, talk to them or don't. Well, anyways, speaking of the DM, you might want to talk to them about who plays the demon in combat. In my games, it's assumed that the caster makes pretty precise commands, so they play the demon. But maybe it works differently at your table. You have to check that. But you know what does work at your table? This video is sponsored by World Anvil, where you create your own world and manage campaigns. This program is perfect for DMs who love to create thick lore. It's an incredible tool for organizing and hosting your fictional worlds, and it's very easy to share with others. This isn't just for DMs, this is also for any creative person like writers, artists, and even game designers. It will strengthen your artistic muscles like you would not believe. The dashboard itself is just perfect for ideas. Like, if you manage to fill all these boxes and then create a map, then you've already got a way better setting than most people's actual games. World Anvil is full of guides to help you along the way, and if you become a wizard at it, you'll make some incredible adventures people would love to explore. I highly highly recommend you check it out, and if you do, please press the link in the description. That helps me too. worldanvil.com/packtactics. And if you like what you see, they hope to earn your subscription. Use the code PACK at the checkout to get 40% off any yearly subscription. New sponsor. Give them some love. Back to the video, there are a bunch of options with this spell, especially because you can upcast it. You can accomplish a lot of things by making a good choice regarding summon, especially if you combine it with planar binding. So which are good options? Well, I'll talk about a few of them I got from a build from Tabletop Builds. A Balgura is a great option for brawling scenarios due to their reckless feature, together with 3 attacks using multi-attack. In these scenarios, they mostly outclass a Tanaruk, which is similar. Remember, multi-attack works even outside your turn if you hold your action. It just doesn't for opportunity attacks. I might have made a short about that by now. A Babao can really be useful due to its spells. It can cast Dispel Magic at will, among other good spells. A Dybbuk can be pretty useful once you get planar binding because of its spellcasting as well. This time it's at will Dimension Door, which is really good. And finally, Rock is another fun option once you have 5th level spell slots and planar binding, as it can make for an incredible mount. It's actually one of the best mounts in the game. I wanna rock! Rock! Ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-da-ba. Later on, you can summon a Glabrezu, or Master of Cruelties, and planar bind those as well. In general, this spell is incredible combined with planar binding, but even without, it is really good in combat if you use something like Babao or Balgura. If you end up casting this spell quite frequently, you'll probably pick the Balgura the most. But Kobold, why specifically those two in combat? Because they're the easiest to keep under control. You can see their charisma is quite bad, and they don't have magic resistance. That's good for us. That's basically all I wanted to say, but let me finish off with an interesting use. My friend did something I've never seen before at a table. So picture this, a bunch of monsters in a room at the end of the corridor. Manny the Hobgoblin drops his Balgura behind the Mind Flayer Arcanist, reading some ritual. Our cleric casts Anti-Life Shell to protect us from melee enemies. After a bit of time, the Balgura regains control, but is still whacking the Arcanist as they are the closest non-demon. The Arcanist casts Wall of Force and runs around the corner as to not die. Manny decides to drop concentration and cast Summon Greater Demon again! Now, Demon number 2 is attacking the Arcanist, leading it to drop concentration on Wall of Force. At that point, the combat was basically over because Demon number 1 still stuck around for about 3 rounds. Both demons eventually destroyed the Arcanist. That was really fun, though if it wasn't the last fight of the day, I doubt we would have used that many resources. Anyways, end of video. Check out World Anvil! Optimize your creative muscles. This is a new sponsor on the channel. Give them some love. We hope to earn your subscription. Thank you for watching. Bye bye!